This is active and passive explained. Let's take a look at the endings for the present system. The present system are the tenses present, imperfect, and future. In the active, those endings are ost, muss, tis, unt. In the passive, the endings are ristur, mur, mini, untur. And that's only for the present, imperfect, and future tenses. So let's take a look at the present tense. Active is meto, metis, metit, metimus, metitis, metunt. The passive is metor with an O, meteris with an E, metitur, metemur, metemini, metuntur with a U. So 3 irregular forms in that group. In the imperfect, things are much more regular. In the active, it's metebam, metebas, metebot, metebamus, metebatis, metebant. And in the passive, it's metebar, metebaris, metebatur, metebamur, metebamini, metebantur. In the future tense, the active is metam with an A, metes, metet, metemus, metetis, metent, A and 5 E's. And in the passive future, it's metar with an A, meteris, metetur, metemer, metemini, metentur. Those are the 3 tenses of the present system. Now we come to the perfect, active, and passive. And things changed quite a bit. In the active, it's one word. Misi, misisti, misit. Misimus, misistis, miserunt. And the perfect stem of mito is mis. So the stem changes and we use different endings. In the passive, we have misus sum, misus es, misus est, misi sumus, misi estis, misi sunt. This is a 2-word form. There's the perfect passive participle, misus, misi, and then a form of the verb to be, sumus est, sumus estis, sunt. So you have to know how to form that perfect passive participle, and you get that from the 4th principal part of the verb. Also, we have to worry about number and gender when we use the perfect passive participle. So, in the singular forms, the participle is misus. Now that's just masculine and just singular. And then when we get to the plural, we have been sent, it's misi sumus. So that's plural masculine nominative. Lots of dimensions to the perfect passive. Pluperfect passive. This one is the perfect tense in the feminine. Sorry about that. So in this, all we're doing is changing the gender of the participle. Misa sum, misa es, misa est, misai sumus, misai estis, misai sunt. Those are all feminine nominatives, singular in the singular, plural in the plural. And then for the perfect tense neuter, just putting in the 3rd person, singular and plural, because you really don't have neuter identifications for 1st and 2nd person. Romans will always think of a person as either masculine or feminine in a binary perspective. But for the 3rd person, we have misum est, it has been sent, and misa est, they, meaning neuter things, have been sent. Here's the whole chart of the indicatives. And now let's take a look at this verb, mito, mitere, misi, missus, the verb to send. And we're going to put it together with a noun, arma, armorum, neuter, arms. We're going to try to make the sentence, arms have been sent. So arms is going to be your subject. So nominative plural neuter, arma. And then have been sent, we want to make that perfect passive indicative, 3rd person plural. It's going to be 2 parts. It's going to be the participle, which has to agree with arma and case number and gender, nominative plural neuter. And then it's going to be a form of the verb to be, 3rd person plural, sunt. So you get arma, misa, sunt. Let's do another with a different noun. Homo, hominis masculine. The person has been sent. All right. Homo hominis is masculine. It's going to be singular, and then we have to use missus, the perfect passive participle, in the nominative singular masculine. And a form of the verb to be, it's going to be third person singular. Sumus est, sumus estis sunt. So, pause now, and the answer is homo missus est. Let's take another one. The noun is gratia, gratiae, feminine, thanks. We want to try to say thanks have been sent. So we're going to put gratia in the nominative singular, gratia, and then have been sent, perfect passive indicative of mitto, mittere, misi, missus. And we're going to make that perfect passive indicative third person singular and singular feminine participle. So that's going to be misa and then est. So pause now if you want to try. Misa est. Gratia misa est. Now the gift has been sent. The word for gift is donum, doni, neuter. So we want donum in the nominative singular as the subject, has been sent, perfect passive indicative of mitto, mittere, misi, missus, We want that to be neuter. We want it to be singular. We want it to be third person singular perfect passive indicative. Pause now if you want to work it out. It's donum misum est. Now we're going to get a little trickier. We're going to add the Greeks into the mix. Danae, danaorum, masculine plural. The Greeks, it's a fancy word for Greeks that Virgil uses in the Aeneid. Danae, danaorum. See, that's a second declension noun. The gift has been sent by the Greeks. So we've got donum, and we has been sent, just like we did before. And then by the Greeks, that's going to be an ablative of personal agent. You need the preposition a or ab, and you need to put danae, danaorum, in the ablative plural masculine. So pause here if you want to work it out. The answer is donum adanais, ablative plural, misum est. You notice I made a nice little sandwich with adanais, putting it between the subject donum and misum, the PPP. Here's another one. I fear the gift that has been sent by the Greeks. The other way you can say this is, I fear the gift sent by the Greeks. So now we want I fear the gift. We're using the verb timeo, timere, timui. So I fear timeo, the gift, donum, and that's the accusative singular neuter. And then we want to make the PPP of missus we want to make that agree with gift, donum, and we want to put the ablative, a personal agent in there by the Greeks. And again, that is danae, danaorum, masculine plural. So pause here if you want to work it out, and then I'll give you the answer. The answer is timeo, I fear, donum, the gift, adanais misum, sent by the Greeks. And you can hear that, donum adanais misum. I've made a little sandwich there with donum and misum, the PPP that modifies it, sandwiching the ablative of personal agent adanais. Donum adanais misum, the gift sent by the Greeks. That's a very traditional Roman way of expressing. I fear the Greeks. Let's try this one. So we're going to use timeo again, And then we're just going to put Greeks in the accusative plural masculine. And again, Greeks is danai, danaorum, masculine, plural. Pause here if you don't want to see the answer right away. And that's going to be timeo danaos. Now we're going to complicate it. I fear the Greeks bringing gifts. Bringing. Well, the verb to bring is phero, fere, tuli, latos. So we're going to use here bring-ing. Now that ing, bring-ing, that's always a giveaway that this is a present active participle. I haven't been doing these lately. So the present active participle of pharaoh is going to be pherens. Now the present active participle is a third declension adjective, so it declines pherens, ferentis, ferenti, ferentem, ferente. And then in the plural, ferentis, ferentum, ferentibus, ferentes, ferentibus. All those third declension endings. So timeo danaos, bringing gifts. Gifts, again, donum, doni, neuter, singular is a gift. We want to make that plural, neuter, accusative, because it's the direct object of the participle. Pause here if you don't want to see the answer just yet. It's timeo danaos, I fear the Greeks, dona ferentes, bringing gifts. So here, ferentes modifies danaos, the Greeks. You can see they're both accusative, plural, masculine, danaos ferentes. And in between the two, I've placed dona. Dona is the accusative, plural, neuter of donum, and it's accusative because it's the direct object of the participle ferentes, bearing gifts. Yes, bearing gifts. And now I'm going to complicate it just a little bit longer. I fear the Greeks, even when bringing gifts, or even when they are bringing gifts, all we have to do here is use this tiny word et, which means even. Timeo danaos dona ferentes means I fear the Greeks bringing gifts. And then you just have to stick et in there, and I'm going to go right to the answer here. Et dona ferentes. Et dona ferentes. Timeo danaos et dona ferentes. I fear the Greeks, even when they are bringing gifts. And this is a direct quote from a line from Virgil's Aeneid. And the person who said that line is the character Laocoon, who was a Trojan. He was trying to warn the Trojans that they should not accept the horse because he says, Timeo danaos et dona ferentes. I fear the Greeks even when they are bearing gifts. And this is what happened to him. This is a Renaissance statue of Laocoon. The Renaissance artists love to use Greek and Roman precedents for their art. Here's a statue of Laocoon with his two sons being eaten by giant snakes that had been sent by a god to punish them for telling the truth being that they should not accept the gifts. And so here they are being bitten and devoured by snakes. What a pity. This is what you get when you use the present active participle timeo danaos et dona ferentes. Ferentes, the present active participle, bringing gifts, ferentes dona. So just be really careful when you use the present active participle, or you'll be gobbled up by giant snakes.